My parents migrated to Australia in the 70s. Reason being is that they wanted to start a new, fresh life. Obviously, Lebanon was going through a tough time through the war, the civil war, and thought it was a great opportunity to move to Australia. Initially, just to seek work, make a little bit of money, and have the intention of moving back to Lebanon sometime. But my father was sent first initially, and then somehow arranged, don't know what you call it, but my mum was sent down from Lebanon. They got married, and they lived in a household of 3 or 4 couples. So these days it's very tough to live with another couple, let alone 3 or 4 different couples. But they did that really. I guess it wasn't really tough for them. You know, for them their sole purpose was to work, to make as much money as they can, and then move back to Lebanon to raise their children up. But my brother was born. My oldest brother was born I think he was born here. I can't really remember, but he was sent back to Lebanon, and my grandparents raised him up. So they worked for about 10 years. They tried to move back to Lebanon. Things didn't work out. They realised Australia was, I guess, the place to call home. They moved back in 1987, and then the following year I was born. But as I said, the sole purpose was to come here to make as much money as possible, to move away from a country that was suffering a lot of destruction. But thankfully we're in this country because, in my view, it is the best country out there. One thing I value the most about my culture, about being Lebanese, is just the tradition we hold. My parents came with a strong tradition. They still hold it till today. Being very close, family, close knit, real close. We bond really well. We don't cut any ties, and the bigger we are, the stronger we become. So I come from a massive family, so it's something that I value and I will never step away from. I'll never lose that Lebanese tradition, but the one thing that I want to raise my kids up to be is to be more educated in their religion. Two different things. People think religion's a culture, but religion's a religion, and being Lebanese is a tradition. And that's one thing my parents got mixed up a little bit with. Like they mixed tradition with religion. So that's one thing I want to do is to break this and make them understand that there's certain traditions that you should follow, and there's certain traditions that you shouldn't follow, because some of the traditions go against the teachings of Islam. So the one thing I want to do is, as I said, just make my young ones understand the differences, and obviously bring them up on both religion and tradition. I feel like an outsider every single day. Just not my appearance. It's more so what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do. So, the boys might enjoy a drink or two after the game, whereas I can't. The boys might go out and party, whereas I can't. It's not that I want to do it, but I'm a believer of Islam, and it doesn't permit us or it doesn't allow us to go out there in the nightlife, to party, to drink alcohol. I'm not saying that it's the wrong thing, but I guess being so devout, I like to follow my religion as much as I can, and to be the best practicing Muslim out there as I can, because I've got a role out there to be a role model for those young kids growing up, and I guess it's not by choice. It's a role given to me that I have to fulfill. Starting football for me was really tough, and a lot of people know my story. I started without their permission for a whole year, so they weren't overly keen about it. Look, taking in mind that they came to Australia purely just to seek the best education for their children, and they thought that sport was the vehicle that was going to drive them away from education. And that was kind of the case for a couple of my brothers. They were so sport dominant that it was affecting their studies. Also, having my oldest brother as a doctor doesn't help, because he set the benchmark pretty high, nice and early. So my parents expected the rest to become doctors and lawyers and things like that. But what they didn't understand, that each individual's got a different goal in life, and that now they're starting to realise that in order to get the most out of an individual, you have to support them for whatever they want to be in life. And for me, it was football. At the same time, I wanted to study and get the most out of myself. They regularly give me advice and about what's going on field and off field. So it's great to have this support, and it's great to see that they're adapting to this Australian culture, because we should celebrate each other's cultures, each other's religions, regardless of where you come from. And that's where our game is heading. A huge percentage of our game now are accumulated by multicultural players. So I think if you're a Jew, you're a Christian, you're a Catholic, you're a Muslim, I think it's important. And obviously being that first practicing Muslim was different, and through the media it did raise a lot of eyebrows, and now it's becoming second nature. With another Muslim player now in the AFL, with Ahmed Saad. So that recognition, I guess, helped me a little bit as well, because it made people aware of who I was and what I believe in, and it also gave me the confidence, because the media gave me that confidence to stand up and to be proud of who I was, and to help educate people about the basics of Islam, which is unfortunately, it's sad, because people won't go out of the way to understand what the basics of Islam is. People just are perceived by what the media has to say, and my role through the AFL is just to give the right impression of what a Muslim does on a day-to-day basis. One thing that I'm raising this year is through multicultural round 14. Would love to have a big day at the MCG where two big teams are playing and we can celebrate different cultures. That's another one of the projects that I'm looking at the AFL, being obviously a multicultural ambassador. So it's a great opportunity to learn about different cultures through celebrating different festivals, different foods, dances, things like that. People, I guess, will respect where people come from. Growing up, studying at an Islamic school, we never had the chance to play inter-school sports, and I thought one day if I play football and I make my name, not saying that I've made my name yet, but I guess I've got that sort of that bit of respect through the AFL. Whereas it would be a good opportunity to give these kids what I missed out on, and that was inter-school sports. Inter-school sports focusing on football, because that's my field. So I'm using my position through the AFL to focus on the Islamic schools. Last year we had our first year where we played the Bashar Huli Cup, and that was based on 6 or 7 Islamic schools throughout Victoria. They played a competition which they really enjoyed, and all the schools gave us the thumbs up to continue in the years to come. So that was very encouraging. We had the government there on the day, and they were really surprised about the turn up and the enjoyment these kids got out of it. So now they've actually funded the program. They've made it a national program where we can include Islamic schools from New South Wales, from WA, from Queensland and South Australia. So this program is becoming really big. The sole purpose is to give these kids a better opportunity, a better pathway to reaching and to succeeding in life. Whether it may be football, it could be just a plumber, or it could be just a community leader. So it's a great program where we want to help these kids grow up and and obviously create a better life.